What's going on, everyone? So once again, we take another loss. No LeBron James, no Anthony Davis. So the game went how you would expect, right? It's unfortunate that they didn't play. You need to have them play as many games as possible. I understand LeBron James taking a bit of a rest. I mean, he's worked his tail off. He's kept us afloat. We've had the eighth best record in the league since the 2-10 start. So it's understandable that LeBron James needs a little break, right? 20th year, 38 years old, that's fine. But Anthony Davis needs to play. If he wasn't ready to come back and you couldn't play him, back to back games or whatever, especially on a minutes restriction, even if you played him 20 minutes, play him 20 minutes. You got to do what you got to do. If he's not ready to come back, don't bring him back, right? And so instead, we lose another game. We're now 5 games under 500. Luckily, I don't think we're going to need to be to 500 in order to make a playoffs or at least get into the play-in. But here's the thing. If we end up landing in the 9th or 10th seed, that's a big issue because we have to win 2 straight games. And don't get me wrong, the Lakers, I think fully healthy, ready to go, I do think can win both of those games. But you can't predict one game, right? It's not a 7-game series, it's one game, right? So you could be better 9 out of 10 times, but if that one game is that one game, that's it. Your season's over, right? If a team just gets incredibly hot, or you just don't play up to snuff or something, or you can't throw a rock into the ocean or something, that's it. Your season's over. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how good of a run you get. We gotta start winning some games. And the problem is that it really feels like, when is it going to happen? Like, when are we going to finally turn things around, right? This team has looked good in spots, looked great, right? I mean, we're in every game. We're competitive every night. We're struggling to close games, but it feels like, okay, we're a piece away, or maybe 2 pieces away from like being a top team in the league. And the problem is that we need to be able to weather the storm long enough to go get that piece or two, because it's probably not going to happen during this road trip, right? We got this, several more games in this road trip. But once the road trip is over, I do imagine the Lakers are going to get some type of trade. I do think something else is going to happen. But, if we're 8 games under 500 by the time that happens, like, you might be kissing the season goodbye. You might be kissing the times goodbye. Now, luckily, I do think some of these teams are going to fall off. Because I just think you're going to have some of these teams that are like, all right, like, we're a play-in team, but we're not very good. Let's trade a couple pieces and kind of retool and ramp up for next season. I do think that that's possible to happen. Does it happen in the West, though, is the question, right? Like, I do think teams like Toronto, right? They're kind of in the hunt, but it's like, let's blow it up, right? Chicago, they're a team that's like, we're kind of in the hunt, but I think it's time to blow it up, right? There are definitely teams in the East that I think might just say, hey, let's switch some stuff up. Let's get into a new year, right? But the West, everyone's so close. Like, who's that team? I don't think Portland's going to do that. The Thunder are already young. They're not going to be blowing it up, right? Like, Sacramento's there. The Pelicans, what are they going to do? They can't really do much. Like, they're kind of in a tough spot, and everyone's just so tight in the Western Conference that all it takes is for you to go on like a 5-game win streak, or a 6-game win streak, and all of a sudden you're like the 4 seed. And it's like, whoa, like, we went from being the 12th seed to the 4th seed, right? And so it's going to be a dogfight till the end of the season, hands down. And I do think the Lakers have enough talent. I do think the Lakers can win and get into a playoff spot. And it's still a very long season. And I've said it a million times, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But we're getting close to the finish, right? It's getting faster and faster here. And I do think February, you can make an argument that we could win like 12 out of our 15 games in February. And then March, and then like April, like especially April, like the last like 5 games in April are all winnable games, right? Like, our last like 8 games of the season, we could realistically go 8-0. But are we? And what's going to happen between now and then? Can AD stay healthy? Right? If AD misses another month of the season, like, that's it. We're done. Right? And that's a real concern. Unless we just get like a real like home run trade, or we get something that's really good. I really like the Toronto trade. And I don't have like any inside information in that, but I really feel like Toronto's the trade that we're gonna end up making. I really do. I could really see the Lakers trading Russ and those two first and going and getting, Birch and, Trent and Van Vliet, or maybe even working on a three-team deal to get like Trent and another piece and maybe Van Vliet goes elsewhere. I really think that that's going to happen. And, I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. But we got to do something. Again, I don't think anything happens until after this road trip, but that gives us, like 5 days or whatever before the trade deadline. And we need something sooner rather than later. Like, it's very likely we wait till the last minute of the trade deadline just because that's how it usually works. And like trades don't really happen overnight. It's usually a couple days, a back and forth, all of those things. But I'm hoping Rob is already doing his due diligence. I'm hoping that Rob is already trying to work out these deals and have them lined up. So, like, okay, well, we agree. You agree on this deal. I agree on this deal. We're gonna wait until we get back from the road trip, and then we'll make this deal final. Not just that, but Toronto. Toronto's probably waiting because aren't they starting a road trip soon, and they're probably gonna wait till they finish their like 3 or 4 game road trip. So I don't think anything's going to happen until we get close to the trade deadline, but we're like a week and a half away. And so we're right there, right? And I really do think that with the right trade, the right move, AD and LeBron getting back, like I said, we have the 8th best record in the league since that 2-10 start. If we didn't start 2-10, we'd probably be a top 4 or 5 team right now, right? Like, and even just if we would have closed out a couple of those games better, the games that the refs cheated us out of, we had like 4 of those games. Like, there's realistically like 10 to 12 games that we probably should have won, and we just didn't. And that's a bit of a problem. So I'm hoping that we can kind of right the ship here a little bit. We can, AD can stay healthy. LeBron can continue to do LeBron things, right? We get a trade done, and all of a sudden if we can go on like a 6, 7, 8 game win streak, or, say we go 7 out of 10 or something like that, right? Or like 8 out of 11 games, something like that, right? Even if it's not like a crazy win streak, like, let's say we don't go on a 6 or 7 game win streak, but like we win 4, we lose 1, we win 4, we lose 1, we win 3, we lose 1. And it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, we didn't go on like some 8 game win streak, but we won 11 out of our last 13. Something like that. All of a sudden, we're the 4 seed, or like the 3 seed, or something crazy like that, the 5 seed, and it's like, okay, like we're off the races. Luckily, everyone in the West has been like equally bad, or I guess you could say equally good, however you want to look at it, whether you want to look at it half full or half empty. But regardless, I think that we aren't that far away. Problem is, we just don't have the starting level talent. We have a very good team, but a lot of guys playing out of position, right? Like, Lonnie Walker's supposed to be like your 5th, 6th, 7th best guy. Austin Reeves is supposed to be like your 6th, 7th, 8th best guy, right? Thomas Bryant, so if we get, say we get the Toronto deal, all of a sudden your starting 5 is Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. It's a really good starting 5. That's one of the best starting 5s in the league, right? Like, that's really good. So, okay, we got the best starting 5, or one of the best starting 5s in the league. Well, what's our bench look like, right? Well, now we got Dennis Schroeder, Austin Reeves, Lonnie Walker, Troy Brown, Winning Gabriel, Thomas Bryant. Like, okay, like now we're legit like 12, 13 guys deep. So now when Thomas Bryant has an 18-9 game, it has more impact. When Troy Brown has an 11-17 game, it has that much more of an impact. Right now, these guys are having these great games. It's not having the impact because we just don't have enough starting level talent to where when one of those guys have a big game, it changes the landscape of the game. And that's a real problem the Lakers have right now. And that's something that we need to address. It also helps when you have Anthony Davis and LeBron James, right? And we really got to stop missing games. We just cannot afford it. And it's just frustrating because it just feels like, at what point do we turn this around? It's just like we're getting closer to the door closing. And it's like the door's still open. It's right there. Just got to get through the door. Hurry up, run. Like it's closing. It's on a timer. Hurry up. And it's just like we're running in slow motion, right? It's like we gotta get there. But it's not too late. It's not. It's getting there though. So hopefully we pull off the win tomorrow, and we kind of close this road trip strong. That would be nice, right? Close this road trip strong, and then get back home, get a trade done. Everyone's healthy. Integrate these guys, and let's go try to compete. Try to get into the playoffs. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We get into the playoffs, I'll take our chances. You still got LeBron James, Anthony Davis. You still got 2 top 10 guys on your team. There's not another team in the league that has that. So you get into the playoffs, they're healthy. I'll take my chances. There's not a team in the Western Conference especially that I'm afraid of. Boston and Milwaukee, I think, would be a little tough. But every team in the West, you can easily make an argument for why the Lakers could beat them. So we'll see. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Do you think the door is closed? Do you think it's still open? Do you think it's open, but it's closing pretty quickly? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comment section below.